Hello Leos, and welcome to this week's reading. I'm Empress Rose. These are very general readings, of course, and some parts might resonate with you and be helpful to you, and other parts won't, or might not. So just take what works for you and leave what doesn't. Also, these have all been pre-shuffled and prayed over. Okay, we're going to start with the Oracle of Mystical Moments to give us an overall idea of where we're going. What's our message for Leo today? What do we have to say to Leo today? What's the most useful thing Leo can know? What's the useful thing Leo can know? What's the most useful thing Leo can know? Okay. We have our two. Fascinating. Okay. Leo, we have weaving flowers. So this is a very intuitive card. These strings go up to some sort of divine source. There's an intuition at play here, and you're creating an incredibly beautiful thing. You cannot see it. You cannot see where you're going. You cannot see what you're creating, but these flower petals are coming to you from the divine, and you are just working with them instinctively, the way your hands know how. And here we have Pure Nature. This is a card that's unusual to me, that I rarely get. It's number 7, if that might mean something to you. I'm going to look this up. Grace, blooming youth, freshness, sharing our true nature and understanding ourselves, our passions, our ideals. Look, this red flower is up in her head, and it also is, it's definitely a rose. And so there's a deep passion about yourself that you are coming to understand and are going to be bringing it out to the world. But you're just starting to understand it yourself and understand this deep passion that you hold in your heart and what it's like and what it feels like. But it's new to you. Okay, we're going to move to the Santa Muerte Tarot deck for our regular reading. Again, these have all been very thoroughly shuffled. I'm having like some interesting feelings about my intuition and I think you're struggling to understand your intuition and understand what it is you're doing and where it is it's going. And these cards are here to reassure you to trust that process, that it is divine, even though you're just beginning to understand it and understand yourself. Fascinating. Difficulty communicating that. All right. All right, Leo, this is your past. This is your present. This is your internal landscape. This is what blocks you. This is your external landscape. This is your to-do list, and this is where you're going. Okay, this is fascinating because what's blocking you is this heart-head connection. So we'll get there. But in your recent past, you've made some decisions. It's fairly overwhelming, deep emotional decisions. But you picked something. You had to go on your instincts here again. But you picked something that was already growing. You picked the pot that already had something in it, that already was promising and growing. So you had all these choices before you. And you picked one that was already on its way, that showed a lot of promise. But it was a fairly overwhelming situation. Emotionally, there was a lot going on. But where you went with it, and you ended up making a choice, a deeply passionate choice, a choice of the heart. You did decide to follow your intuition. You did decide to go with this. I'm seeing this bright, sunshiny day behind this cabinet. So it was a beautiful day. There was a lot of warmth and a lot of... It was very peaceful surrounding you. A lot of serenity was in the situation, and you... I don't know that this choice was that hard. There were several options, but the right one just seemed so clear to you, and you selected that choice, that path of heart. And then in your present situation, you have the world. You have this is a major arcana, and this is the things going on around you. The whole world is changing, is turning, and it's just time for this to happen. This is divinely guided. Our, serenity is turning into harvest. Passion is turning into purity. There's an unsettled energy. We have the bride. We have the harvest. We have going from single to coupled. We have going from a garden to a harvested, stored warehouse. So we have this just changing. The nature of everything is changing. The nature of the world is changing, and it's simply the way it is. The world turns as the world turns. So it's the soap opera of being alive, and that's what's happening. It's just changing. Internally, you have the Page of Cups. You have maybe this new emotional choice that you made, and you're looking at it with a lot of curiosity, a desire to learn. The Page is the student. The Page is learning, is curious, is looking at this emotional cup with so much. There's a love and an affection and a curiosity. We haven't opened our hearts yet, but we're looking at the contents. We're looking at what's going on here, this emotional new beginning. We're examining it. We're curious. We're doing experiments on it. This reminds me of candy, when you're like candying something and you pull the spoon up to see how thick it is. So you're looking at, you're taking the temperature of your heart and your emotions, and you're trying to understand them and looking at them. And then what's blocking you, though, is actually the same activity. So it might be an over-examining of your heart. This is the Five of Cups. So so far we just have cups. Oh my gosh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cups in this reading. We have 5, 6, 7. 5 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 7 of Cups. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Knight of Cups. So we don't have a mastery of the emotional situation, but this is echoing this card so much of understanding some sort of passion in your heart, learning about it. Like, we don't have the beginning. So the beginning has already happened here of this really emotional trip you're on. We have sort of the unsettled middle where choices are being made, things are being examined and looked at. You have the middle section of this heart-filled journey. So you have this 5 of Cups. This is, the way I get is this high desert landscape. There's a storm brewing. Your mind is a labyrinth. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to sort out. Oh my gosh, your mind is a Zen labyrinth. It's not something you're trying to figure out. It's a journey you're on, and you just keep going. Your mind has a path it needs to travel, and it's going to travel that. And in the meantime, you are up to your heart in this deep emotional water. It's a fairly clear water, and you're looking down. This is like the Crater Lake of waters. You can see the depth. You can see all the way down to the ground. You can see where these lily pads and these lotus blossoms are anchored at the bottom of this unbelievably deep lake. And there's a moon here. I think the clouds are clearing, but this is what's blocking you. You're not here yet. You're studying these emotions, but you're not getting the clarity that you need yet. This is a lack of clarity about your emotions, which can sometimes happen, especially when we're on an intuitive journey, which this speaks to, where we don't have the clarity that we crave. And so maybe part of the problem is you want to understand these emotions more than you're ever going to be able to. You just need to make this instinctive choice and look at you can look at it, and that's what you want to do, but maybe you're looking at it a little too hard and expecting more clarity from the situation than you're ever going to really get. And then in your environment, we have this 5 of Swords. This is a really tough situation where there aren't good options. You are in a canyon. You have enemies behind you and enemies ahead of you, and there's not a lot of good choices. You're a little bit trapped in a situation. And now that you're here, now that you're in this canyon, and you've been chased by enemies into this canyon, and now you're in this canyon and there's enemies before you. So this is possibly one of the darker cards in this Santa Muerte deck. It usually talks about our dark situations as having happened or what we can expect out of them. But this one is like a situation going on in your life where there's no good out. That you're not going to find a good way out. You're going to have to take some casualties and make some difficult choices. I'm just remembering where this card showed up at different points in my life, and there were no good options. I was very much trapped into a situation in which I had to take action that I didn't really want to take. It wasn't in my nature to take, but I had to. So that's sort of the situation I get from this card. It's pretty not a good situation card. You have this like deep, lovely, emotional situation going on within, but externally, you're a little bit trapped. You're going to have to get super creative. The way out it's going to be hard and not necessarily in your nature. So the situation around you is very trapped, very difficult. Your to-do list, look at this. You've got these 6 cups. This overflowing of emotion. I just feel there's so much love here with you, and so much passion. And I'm so sorry you're stuck in this situation in which there doesn't seem to be a good way forward. And I don't understand, but I think you're going to have to follow your intuition. You got to take your cups somewhere. There's a table waiting for you to bring. You're this waitress with this arm full of this lovely emotional nectar, and your job right now is to take it to the table. Even though you feel trapped, you're taking it, you're dancing it to the table with joy. You're going to go forward with your cups. That's your job, even though it doesn't look like you can do your job. Your to-do list is to bring these emotional armload of cups forward to the table that's waiting for it. Internally, you just have so much emotion, so much love, so much intuition. You're just trying to understand your own feelings, it looks like. And then your external, or your a possible outcome here is this Knight of Cups. This is your heart's going forward. Your heart has a message that needs to be delivered. Your heart knows its mission. It's your mind that's looking backward. Your mind is looking back at a situation that you're leaving. But there's a serenity as you go forward, and your heart, your little animal heart, is going to move forward, no matter which. Even though you're looking back at this difficult situation, your heart's going to move forward for you. Through this threshold, out of this overgrown garden, and and through this threshold into a new place. You have messages you're bringing. I think there's so much sadness. You're going to a new place, but there's just so much sadness about this painful situation. You're trying to understand it, and you just have to follow your instincts. They are divinely guided. They're coming to you from... There's just this hint at the beginning that this situation is divinely guided, and your instincts are going to move you forward. But your mind is very much in this situation. This is the external situation. I believe this is what you're leaving behind and what you're looking back at. Oh my gosh, my cat. All right, Leo, that's your reading. Good luck moving forward and sorting out all the things you need to sort out. As always, like, subscribe, and comment. It helps my little channel grow and find its audience. So thank you for watching this, and I hope your week is good.